This is Andrew with the Chosen Prime with a quick video review of MP-28 Hot Rodimus, otherwise known as TakaraTomy's second attempt at doing a masterpiece hot rod or Rodimus. It's a much smaller scale than MP-09, and I'll show up comparisons in a little bit, but it's meant to match the newer scale of the Hisui car robots. This is a review sample that we happen to have, so I do not have the box or the instructions, but I do have his accessories. He comes with a spinning saw disc that can fit on his hand. You see it's clear here with a bit of silver on the outside and it can spin. He comes with a pair of guns that can be held in either robot mode by flipping this peg down. You get your standard peg, or via peg holes here, and they can peg into the top of his vehicle mode if you want. Alternatively, if you want to, take one of his guns, and to match his target master, you can kind of flip up the engine here. There's another port to put in the gun. You can have him work that way. His final accessory is a little fishing pole that homages the scene in the Transformers animated movie where he was fishing with Daniel, and I'll show off he can hold that in robot mode. As you can see, Rodimus looks really good here in his car mode. Good paint, a nice clear window here, nice chromed spoilers, and overall just a really striking version of Rodimus' car mode, and a much greater improvement than MP-09. So we'll go ahead and we'll transform him into his robot mode. So to begin, we go ahead and unpeg his arms here from the canopy. Unlike MP-09, there's a lot of nice locking tabs to keep him secure in all his modes. So here you can see there's a tab hole here and a tab there. We come around the other side and make it loose and kind of get the arms free. Now what I do recommend is opening up the canopy here of his engine for transformation. It makes it easier so you can flip his head around easier without scratching it. And here's where you can kind of see where you could store MP-10's matrix if you wanted to. So next we go ahead and we kind of flip this entire torso section here. There's a couple of pegs here on these orange pegs that are lock it into the canopy window and slide it all forward. Next we can kind of come around here and flip the head around, and you can see there's his face. And go ahead and cleanse the canopy at this point. There's a peg here and a peg hole here on the torso. You can go ahead and lock it down. Come to the back, we slide down the engine, and it does kind of sit nicely into place. Next we take the arms, and they're on double hinges here, and so you want to go ahead and just pull them out to the sides on both sides. Next, here, these portions of the car actually flip around into his back, so just unpeg them and flip them around to kind of give him a slimmer torso. So then now that's mostly with the arms ready to go for the next bit. So what I recommend next is go ahead and swip out the legs. That frees up the canopy. And so you come to the canopy, these little bits of the window, these rear lights kind of fold in, and then these sections here, they unpeg from the side of the vehicle mode and rotate in. So again, this is the peg, and they kind of cleanly hide themselves into the backpack. And what's nice is by pegging these in, these little intakes here lift up. Now you want to take the whole entire canopy, lift it up. There's a peg hole on his back and a peg. And go ahead and lock that into place. The entire backpack will kind of fold in on top of itself. Rotate up the wing here. And now, in order to secure the arms, there's this lower peg and this upper peg here that peg into the blue part here on the canopy. And you want to kind of make sure you securely connect it in both places. And again, it's on both sides, so go ahead and do that. Now we can go ahead and take these upper intakes, and they'll push down and they'll lock in place behind his head for his shoulders there. So for his arms, you want to rotate this section so that the car mode's here, and then rotate the hand this way. His hands are on standard hidden panels within the lower forearm, and they're kind of hard to pull out, but essentially you open that panel and rotate it out. And there's one hand. Come to the other side. And again, you want to kind of make sure that these two pegs here fit securely and lock into the side of the canopy. Rotate forward, spin this around, open up this canopy. And again, these are kind of stiff on this copy. And the same thing with the shoulder joints here connecting. It's kind of this, I think, because this is a sample. It's not exactly perfect. So we come down to the legs, we split them, You open up the back panel here on this side, and then you kind of slide down and hinge out the leg, and it locks both in when it's on vehicle mode as well as here. There's nice logging tabs as well as the back of the leg here. You just want to go ahead and close that. So transformation very similar to Combiner Wars Deluxes. So again, come to the outside, open this up, unpeg it, extend it down, you lock the peg, move the foot, flip down the heel spur, and there is the new MP-28 Hot Rodimus in his robot mode. Taking a closer look at Hot Rodimus in his robot mode, you can see that the plastic and paint look very nice. He's definitely built and engineered to be a very posable figure, from the way that his arms here can rotate out. They have a hinge there. He's got double hinged elbows. His wrists can swivel. He does have the fingers that slide out. Ball joint head that can look up and down. Twist of a torso. He does actually have an ab crunch, part of his transformation, so it lets him get some nice poses. You know, you can get him running or something like that. His legs are on universal ball joints, so they have a rotation here. They can go up forward and back. His hip skirts can move out of the way in the back, side, and front, depending on how you want to pose him. He does have double jointed knees, and they're all very stiff. He does have ankle tilts that are basic, and the heel spur, so you can kind of get him positioned very well. But overall, you know, it's just a really great posable figure. I know some folks have an issue with the way that his torso looks here. It's kind of boxy, but very much like MP Sideswipe. Once you get him in hand, it's not really an issue. It's something that pictures and even this video probably don't show off very well, but once he's in hand, he just looks like a really lithe version of the G1 character. As far as features in this mode, if you do open this canopy here, this double hinge, you could fit MP10's Matrix Leadership in this cavity. If you open up the top of his head here, he does have little flip out visors here on his head that you can rotate out. They're a bit stiff to get out the first couple times, but then they will fold down and cover his eyes, and so he can reenact that one scene from the animated movie where he's scanning the Decepticons in the sky. As far as the accessories, it does come with a pair of guns, and you just make sure that this little peg here is rotated forward, so you get the peg hole this way. And essentially it works like every other Masterpiece Autobot, where it's just you just kind of slide it into the hand and it'll hold it. He holds them a lot more secure than some of the other Autobots, so they made an improvement there. If you want his spinning hand, the spinning saw disc, all you would do is take the hand and rotate it in to get access to the peg here on the outside, and then you just take the saw blade attachment and just peg it on. And so you can get, you know, it looks quite nice and far better than the one that MP-09 had. His final accessory is his little fishing pole that he has, and it simply just slides into place into his hand, just like that. And if you want to, you can make him sit, you know, sit down and fish with it if you so choose. So we'll go ahead and get on to some comparisons. Robot mode comparisons between MP-28 Hot Rodimus and the original MP-09 Rodimus. This is the US release. It's a bit redder than this magenta that the one from TakaraTomy, the new one. As you can see, the new one is much smaller and in scale with other Masterpieces, especially when you bring in something like a golden standard like MP-10. As you can see, this version of the Rodimus on the right definitely seems to fit the new style. He's also built a lot better than the original MP-09. You know, he's much stiffer. There's the joints and everything pegs together versus you know, MP-09 with the loose hips, the loose backpack, kind of the hands, the overall difficulty transformation, all of that. As you can see, the backpack is a bit cleaner on the new Rodimus, and just overall, it's kind of just a better job done this time around after a couple years. Here with Hot Rodimus. To compare accessories like their saw blades, here you can see the MP-28 saw blade is much larger and nicer than the one that came with MP-09. Here you can see it's much smaller and it's kind of a little silly. compared to the newer one. Vehicle mode comparisons with the MP-09. As you can see, the newer Rodimus is much smaller and a better scale to current Autobot cars. And generally, it's a lot better in the newer MP-28 that he just looks better, looks like a better hot rod. He's more fun to transform. He's built a lot better. It's much easier to transform than MP-09. And, you know, with all of that things going with it, it's just a much better job this time from Takara. Hot Rodimus in his robot mode amongst some other Masterpiece Autobots. As you can see, he's just kind of this nice middle ground scale, taller than a standard car robot, but then not quite as tall as Masterpiece Optimus Prime. Design-wise, he's very similar in person to Masterpiece Sideswipe, where Masterpiece Sideswipe people have a problem with this wide chest. You get the same kind of effect with Rodimus here, that once you get him in hand, that this chest kind of just looks fine once you see him in hand. And I would say the experience is very similar to Masterpiece Ironhide, where Masterpiece Ironhide didn't look too great in photos before people started getting him in hand, but then once you actually get him in hand, you see that they're an excellent figure. So I think if you want a nice newer update for Hot Rod here, MP-28 is a nice choice. Rodimus vehicle mode comparisons. Here you can see him amongst some other Masterpiece Autobots. He's very similar in size to MP Sideswipe. And he kind of fits into that nice car size versus the original Masterpiece Hot Rod. Here's Hot Rod next to Masterpiece Ultra Magnus. As you can see, they look quite nice next to each other. Masterpiece Ultra Magnus is kind of more based on scale-wise, based off of his toy versus the cartoon. So he's a bit larger than Hot Rodimus here. But I think these Season 3 Autobots look good side by side, and they look even better in vehicle mode. Ultra Magnus and Rodimus in vehicle mode. Here you can see that when this new Rodimus definitely feels better in scale with Ultra Magnus and just overall with the other car robots. And if you do want to, you know, Rodimus can be stowed and towed in Ultra Magnus's trailer. And here's a fun comparison with the little Daniel that came with Masterpiece Ultra Magnus. You can see he kind of fits this newer scale of Rodimus in his vehicle mode. Here's a fun setup you can do if you have Hot Rodimus and Apollyon, is you can have them reenact a certain infamous scene from Transformers: The Animated Movie where Hot Rod got in the way. As you can kind of see here, this new version of Hot Rodimus seems to match the new updated scale of the Masterpiece line. Some final thoughts on MP-28 Hot Rodimus. TakaraTomy's done an excellent job of updating Hot Rod for newer Masterpiece collections. He's a marketing improvement from the original MP-09, from plastic to paint to engineering to overall fun. This version of Hot Rod is just great compared to the original MP-09. Hot Rod here is currently up for order at the Chosen Prime, and he's estimated to come out at the end of February, and I recommend him, so take care.